one thing I've always loved, but growing up never admitted to loving because I thought my friends might question my sexuality, but now I have no problem admitting that I love? Musical theater. Yeah, all the other boys in school like going to their sporting events. I liked going to Broadway. They had their foam fingers. My version of a foam finger was a sign around my neck that said "totally not gay," which I'm not sure upset the men or the women more. And that's really funny when you think about it. Getting shirtless and painting yourself up and surrounding yourself by other shirtless dudes sounds a lot more gay than what I liked. The late 2000s were f***y. And look, fittingly, I happen to be in a theater with an audience of one. Is this bad, Cinderella? Many musicals have made their way to the big screen. Sometimes they're fantastic. Sometimes they're okay but pale in comparison to the stage show. Sometimes they totally suck and bring shame to the source material. And sometimes they're this. I will dedicate the rest of my life apologizing for showing you that poster. There are still some pretty great ones that haven't yet gotten their chance to shine on the big screen. Of course, one of everyone's favorite shows, Wicked, has been in talks to have a film adaptation basically since its premiere back in 2003. And it's finally climbed out of production hell, it's in production now, and we're finally gonna get one. Actually, we're getting two! Why? Get out of here. So here's 10 more that I think are right for a Hollywood makeover. There's no business like show business, which actually isn't true because film and Broadway are both considered show business, but they're two different businesses. And then there's TV, which is also show business, but I digress. So now's the time to raise the curtains, unwrap those candies, and silence those cell phones. Except for that one person who secretly records the show and then uploads it to stagedork.com. God bless that person. This is my top 10 musicals that deserve to be movies. And don't you tell me 13 the musical is any more deserving than these 10. Because if not, we can't be friends. Number 10, Company. Company! The story of a 35-year-old man who is the only person in his group of friends to not be happily married. I think this is a story that all aspiring crazy old cat ladies out there should know about. That they're not alone. This is not one of my favorite shows, but I really appreciate the message. The recent revival gave the musical a surprisingly viable sex change, so you can go several ways with a big screen adaptation. Number 9, Next to Normal. A musical about a family as they deal with the mother's deteriorating bipolar disease and hallucinations of her murdered son. Cool! I feel like we need more media to shine a focus on the struggles faced by families impacted by mental health concerns, and this show does just that. Now, in the wake of Dear Evan Hansen's huge success, the stage show at least, it's a great time to bring the musical to audiences who weren't able to catch it in its original form, or just didn't want to because they don't give a shit about Broadway. Getting such a personal account of the struggle out into the public eye has the potential to break the taboos that have long surrounded mental illness and to show how difficult life can be for those who face it every day. Also, it won a Pulitzer! Whatever that is. Number 8, Batboy. In 1992, headlines in the Weekly World News tabloid said that a horrific creature, half man and half bat, had been unearthed in a cave, escaped, and was being chased by government agents. To absolutely no one's surprise, it became a musical. Who didn't see that coming? Despite rave reviews, the production never made the transition to Broadway. With its theatrical allegory for the pitfalls of prejudice, intolerance, and provincialism, I've never said that word before, and a beat-driven rock score that pays homage to music of the 60s and 70s, it was probably ahead of its time. You might say Broadway was still just for gays at that point.
Oh, it's not just for gays anymore.
There's gonna be people who find the whole thing stupid and, well, I have no idea where they're getting that. But I think something like this could definitely gain a Rocky Horror-like cult following and then give the show the recognition it sadly never got. Number 7, Oklahoma. True, there's already an Oklahoma movie, but did you all know I think there was a West Side Story remake? And it actually worked. Well, not at the box office, but critically it worked. If a classic untouchable musical like that can get a remake and work, Oklahoma can too. And I'm not just saying that because Oklahoma makes great people. More specifically, the 2019 revival, which changed everything. It made the score and the atmosphere feel more current but still believable as a period piece. It gained a lot of attention for its cast, which featured a wheelchair user as Ado Annie, and in other productions they used transgender and non-binary actors. And one word Hollywood really loves is diversity. Oklahoma was never the most complex musical, but that doesn't mean it can't be treated like one. If there can be 2 West Side Stories and 2 Oklahomas, maybe someday we'll get the Cats movie we deserve. Never say never. Number 6, Miss Saigon. A young Vietnamese woman falls in love with an American soldier. And that brings us to that word again, diversity. After the Oscar So White controversy, the Academy loves trying to convince everyone that they're not terrible people. This could be quite convincing for them. And another musical winning Best Picture can show that the preferential ballot, while still bullshit, doesn't have limits on what kind of movie can win. The kind of tragic love story that kind of reminds me of Titanic. And I think that film was a moderate success. I could see this being a movie like Les Mis, going big everywhere, with the production design, the cinematography, and the singing. Just no Russell Crowe, please. Number 5, Kimberly Akimbo. I know it just came to Broadway, but how in God's name did a prom movie get greenlit so fast? Like Company, this is a story that needs to be told. It's all about living in the present and not in the future. That's something even I haven't yet learned to do. It's set in the late 90s, which is about the coolest setting you can have. And Kimberly is played by a, let's say, middle-aged actress, and it's always great when there's a lead role for older women. Hollywood should eat this musical up like cake. Number 4, Pippin. We don't always need our musicals to be nail-biting social critiques. Sometimes we just want to be entertained. Step 4, Pippin. About a young prince trying to find his place in the world. When he's lost and confused about his life's directions, a group of actors discover him and force him through a series of adventures that may lead him to his true calling. The musical's bleak conclusion serves as a somber reminder that life isn't always a jolly good time. It would be, to put it mildly, a cinematic extravaganza. To watch this as a film with various versions of the songs and variations on the themes, I know you're out there, Baz Luhrmann. Quality over quantity, which is sure to please stupid people at least. And the last time I checked, this world is loaded with stupid people.
Not me!
Number 3, Hadestown. We can't forget this one. What do you get when you cross Titanic with Clash of the Titans? Well, something amazing, we can assume. Set in a dystopian future, Hadestown is a theatrical adaptation of the mythology of Orpheus, Eurydice, and of course, the god of the underworld, whose name escapes me.
And if you thought Disney's Hercules was bad at sticking to source material, you ain't seen nothing yet.
For a show about hell, Hadestown is absolutely heavenly, and it really could not have come out at a better time.
There's a song called Why We Build the Wall! The Wall! What does that make you think of? I was doing really good not bringing that up.
Also, the songs are fantastic, and the set is just begging for a big screen makeover. Hollywood, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
Number 2, the Book of Mormon. 2 Mormon missionaries are sent to a little Ugandan community to share their faith, with bigger problems like sickness, famine, and warlords who shoot people in the face to deal with. Don't tell me that's not a story that shouldn't be told. Kids need to know about it. What's often described as the funniest musical ever. And it is exactly that. Trey Parker is just an Oscar away from EGOT, and with Phil Collins retired, it's now or never, Trey. If anything, it should be a movie just to see the mortifying look on some people's faces.
Blasphemy! The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
And number 1, Spring Awakening. If you ask a simpleton to describe this, they'd probably say it's a bunch of horny teenagers in the 1800s. And I can't think of a better way to describe it. But also, it's fantastic. Youth revolt, self-discovery, sexual awakening. This is what we need right now, depending on who I'm talking to. A movie seems too obvious, and there have been several rumors. One even said it would star Alila, that hot girl from Moana. But the clock's ticking. This musical really speaks to me. I guess you could say it's my junk. And if you haven't seen the musical, you wouldn't understand. All the better reason for a movie.
So thanks for watching, subscribe, and if you need me, and trust me, you will, I'll be in New York.